Hey guys, welcome back to Overanalyzing Heated Rivalry. We are on episode 2. Remember, the thesis statement is Heated Rivalry is a cosmic love story before it is hockey smut. Let's begin. Summer 2011. So we're starting with a training montage between Shane and Ilya. Ilya's trying to reconcile with Shane. Shane shakes it off because he wants the cookie. Fall 2011, the season starts. They play against each other. Oh wait, yeah, I forgot. They're kind of like avoiding each other a little bit. Ilya's reaching out. Shane won't respond. I almost forgot, last time they blew up in each other, and it's like 2 years before they actually see each other again. Also, who is sitting next to Shane right here? Please let me know. Thank you. Want to come while you're in Boston? He's getting, wait, we don't get the tuna melt until episode 4, so they don't actually hook up at Ilya's place. Spring 2012, almost like a year, right? This is a year now. They are both gnawing on the nearest inanimate object at the thought of being on top of each other. They cannot stop this attraction, even if Shane is refusing these hookups for now. I also feel like it's kind of fun getting the text bubbles here because it really shows us how anxious Shane is. And also, whenever we have these like little text bubbles, Ilya's also kind of reading in on them. So I think Ilya kind of sees how Shane is kind of struggling responding back sometimes. And I think he finds it quite endearing. 2886 Beacon. I used to live near Beacon, and I feel like this is probably more out towards what's that school? I feel like it's almost out towards Wellesley, because even when you're getting towards Newton, Chestnut Hill, it's still very urban. Where would theoretically, like kind of in this universe, where would 2886 Beacon be? All right, okay, so another framing shot. Shane is deep into this fantasy with Ilya, right? We can see that represented by the 2 stars in between Shane, where Shane is sitting in between, but he's also sharing this 1 star between him and Hayden, which represents the reality, right? So as we kind of zoom in on Shane, we see that the 2nd star disappears, and he's kind of in reality where he has to hide this aspect of himself. Winter 2013. Dude, a year and a half? 2 years? 2 years and a half? Oh, I also kind of love this framing. Shane is in Ilya's mind, and also Ilya's kind of like putting Shane above himself. That's how highly he thinks of Shane. That's how much he wants Shane. That's how in focus Shane is in Ilya's brain right now. I feel like it's also a play on their dynamics, right? Usually in the first episode, we see a lot of Ilya being on top, and now it kind of switches around where Shane in this TV is on top of Ilya. Same thing, they want the exact same thing. Shane cannot deny it.
Fucks you tonight? I'm gonna fuck him back.
I'm gonna fuck him back.
I think you mean fucks with. They do it to you all the time in Boston. You wanna see? No thanks. Go be weird somewhere else. I'm not even that weird. Whatever you need, Captain.
I like this little story beat where we get to see Shane in the locker room with his teammates. We see him interacting with them. We see them goofing off. We see this gentleman, I don't know his name. Is it JJ? JJ really respects Shane. He's captain. Like, whatever you need, Captain, I'm here for you. And then we get into this like little cute mock interview sequence with Hayden.
Oh, Mr. Hollander, what does Montreal have to do to win tonight?
Well, hockey is a complicated, nuanced game, but it would be helpful if we scored more fucking goals.
I like the little goofy role play that they do together.
How about that other team?
Ilya Rozanov has been on a up to you in the scoring race. Want to know what he had to say?
How many times can you come in an hour? Shane interprets this as kind of like Ilya wanting to get in his head. Ilya's just flirting. Ilya's just horny. Shane is struggling at replying. Ilya sees this. This is kind of fun. Are you trying to fuck with me before the game? That's what Shane is kind of projecting onto Ilya. But then I think he realizes that, like, one, Ilya is into this, but also like Shane is into this too. He responds maybe twice. And then also you get this little smirk from Ilya. He likes this. He likes the kind of like the boring way that Shane is responding. He thinks it's so cute that Shane is this boring when he's like the superstar elite hockey player. You suck at sexting. I also love like the music here. We're getting deeper and deeper into like their personal space with like everything else is drowned out, right? This is a locker room. We are in a locker room scene between these two. It's loud. Like they're trying to get hyped before the game. Everyone's putting on their gear. Everyone's being loud. Like, where's my shit? Where's my shit? We're about to go on in like 5. But the fact that it drowns out everything else and the music is only this like one note progression, as well as like clicking of the texts in between Shane and Ilya. If you're lucky, I'll text you after the game. He is picking up what Ilya is putting down. This is like Ilya's style of texting. Are you as hard as I am right now? Again.
Oh, this Montreal girl works you out, brother.
Ilya is seeking connection. He wants to know that him and Shane are hard at the same time. That's kind of hot. All right, discreet hookup.
You will murder me.
Maybe. Get in.
Get in. Get in, loser. We're going to heaven.
What the fuck did you think is okay to sex me before the game? What the fuck?
You were hard, weren't you? For how long? Whole game. Mr. Businessman. Mr. Landlord.
You asked.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, we kind of get this like start of the Mr. Businessman, Mr. Real Estate, Mr. Perfect kind of trope with Ilya and Shane.
In the kitchen, on the floor. I think maybe you like it.
Smell the
Shane's also wearing a dark green hoodie
I
here.
had one.
You shouldn't be smoking.
And you shouldn't be talking.
All right, now that I've had some time to let this marinate, I think I've landed on what really makes sense for green in Shane's wardrobe for episodes 1 and 2. So in the first episode and in the first scene, we see Shane wear a green beanie. And we initially discussed green as being the enlightened color. I think that the green beanie represents an enlightened mind. So Shane recognizes that Ilya is another top player in hockey. So I think in his mind, it's probably best to get to know this guy because there's probably a lot of things you can learn from his hockey skills. And then later in episode 1, we see Shane wear green shorts. For me, that represents the carnal aspect of human. So in that scene, we can see Shane really taking apart, honestly, Ilya's body, right? He's appreciating the little things about Ilya's body. And I don't know, I feel like you really only do that when you are very much attracted to someone in a certain way. And then finally, we have in this episode, Shane is wearing a green hoodie. It is covering his heart. So here, I do think that this represents his heart being enlightened. And we'll see later in the same scene that Shane is the one to initiate a deeper romantic interaction with Ilya. So here, I do think we've reached the holy trinity of mankind, right? You've got the mind, you've got the carnal, and you've got the heart. Dude, it's been 2 to 3 years since they've met, or it's been 3 years since they've met, 2 years since they last hooked up. This is Shane's first time getting penetrated. Dude, imagine waiting 3 years to get penetrated by your mans. Insane. Also kind of hot though.
Wow. You think this will be enough?
All right, legs up.
He's okay.
Consent. He's checking in. Also, I want to make note of the music. We're getting this like slow arpeggio.
When I hung up with him, all my synths were already connected to my computer and everything. I just played the arpeggio and chords around it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a break. Took my Sunday off. On Monday, I turned everything on, went back at it, and I was hoping that it was still magical the way I left it last time. And it was.
And we see this a lot with their scenes together. This do-do-do-do-do. It feels like you're floating. You're in this fantasy. You're floating. And that's kind of like how they feel when they're with each other. Dude, we're doing it in every position. I don't know if this is Shane's first time. I don't know if I believe that. All right, the second door has been opened.
I will shower now, okay?
Okay, question. Why didn't Shane hop in the shower? All right, we get the pillow talk. I'm also digging how the song, the arpeggio, continues from like intercourse to pillow talk. There's no like change in music score to signify like a switch of pace, and I feel like that kind of means like they're still kind of in this like romance fantasy together even after intercourse.
Worth the wait.
Ooh, Shane is being a too tender.
I should go.
Okay, I want to take a second to look at the imagery in this frame. Remember how I said the 2-star thing is representative of their fantasy together? 1 star represents reality, right? In this framing, we only see 1 lamp, right? The other lamp presumably is on, but it's out of frame. It's also not really lighting up Shane or Ilya as much as the lamp on the right side is. However, the finishing on Shane's wall is also giving like a really clear reflection of the real light. So I think this is almost representative of Ilya and Shane, mostly Ilya, I think, not knowing if he is in reality or if he is in the fantasy, right? Like if I were to ask you, how many lamps do you see in this frame? Would you answer 1 or would you answer 2? Right? Like, I don't know. You probably don't know. I think Ilya also doesn't know. So as when Shane tries to be super tender and like give him this forehead kiss, he pulls back. Similar to how like we don't know how many stars there actually are. Ilya just doesn't know if this is fantasy or if this is reality. And he is kind of scared that he likes it. He doesn't know if he is really feeling things for real or if he is able to indulge in this fantasy. And that scares him. I should go. He pulls back. And now, this is such bottom activities. Why would Shane walk this dude down to the exit, the stairwell exit? Couldn't y'all have just said bye, like, at Shane's front door? Right. Do you want to exit? Did exit?
Olympics, right?
Well, right.
Your family must be happy they're in Russia.
Yes.
My parents are pretty psyched for me. Anyways, I'm psyched. I've been dreaming about it my whole life.
Dreaming of what? Bronze medal.
Doing a little bantering?
Hey, remember when I made you come hands-free?
Go fuck yourself, Rosalind.
Such a good drink.
Your cat.
Okay, so I read somewhere, or maybe I saw like a TikTok where they said that the show producers, the showrunners, debated on leaving this scene in or taking it out or using a different scene because the kiss we're about to experience is super romantic and like intimate, and it kind of doesn't make sense in this timeline because we just saw Ilya pull away from Shane. So what is different between Shane's bedroom and the stairwell? I think the stairwell represents like a transient nature, right? Shane's bedroom feels like forever. Like Ilya felt like he could have been in that fantasy forever. And that's kind of scary, right? Like in Inception, you don't want to be in the dream world for too long because then you lose your sense of reality. I think that's kind of what Ilya was feeling, and he felt scared of that. Here, though, Ilya basically tethers himself to the real world, right? He is in this transient stairwell. You can't fully exist in there. So when you're in this space, the connotation is you will move on. So he's using time as this shield from his feelings, right? He knows that he can't be here forever, so he is able to more fully indulge in this moment with Shane. And also, the cab is here, right? There is someone waiting to take Ilya away. So I think in Ilya's mind and the mind of someone who like is in the closet, it's kind of like no matter how tender this kiss is, no matter how cute we are, no matter how much connection we have, no matter how close I get to telling you that I love you with our lips, basically, it won't be real. It can't be real because
Your cab is definitely here.
because your cab is definitely here. The cab is Ilya's tether to the real world because he knows that he has like a deadline basically for this fantasy that him and Shane are in right now. He is able to fully indulge and fully be intimate with this kiss. Whereas right before, when he was in Shane's bed, where arguably it's more safer, he had to pull away. This kiss works because Ilya's got to go. He knows he can't like be in Shane's arms forever here, whereas in Shane's bed, he could have pictured that. We see Ilya leave the stairwell, and then Shane just savor this moment for a little bit longer. How long do y'all think Shane sat there? And how long would y'all have sat there? I think I would have done like 3 minutes and then time to go.
Welcome back to Man
And now we're at the Olympics back in Russia. Ilya looks very saddened. And then he also has this responsibility of being his whole nation's captain. He wants to know how his boy's doing. So romantic.
All in there. What's up, motherfucker?
Boys.
Hey, what did Ross say about it?
I don't know. Nothing to me, that's for sure.
Nothing to me, that's for sure. He's a little pissed that
baby. We're fucking coming for you. Okay.
Shane or Ilya isn't answering him.
Ronnie, don't even stress.
Oh, good one.
Program. Train together. Would you guys be cool to do that? I'd love to show up for him.
Hell yeah, man. Show up for any dude who's that brave.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm assuming your buddy might be gay.
I want to make a note that Carter Vaughn is the first person in the script. I don't know like the whole storyline of Game Changers, but he's the first person in the show to basically say vocally that like, I want to support someone who is gay, who is queer. I think that they are so brave for basically existing and like coming to the Olympics where their existence is in danger, essentially.
I mean, it's fucking brave for a dude to show up to a place like this and be like, hey, here's me. Russia is not safe for folks like that. Fucking balls of steel, man.
All right, so later that evening, we get a little routine. Carter, even if he's assuming that this guy's gay, even if he is or isn't, the assumption has already been placed that this figure skater is gay. And Carter over here is like applauding, he's celebrating. His smile is so big. He is really impressed by this person. So we can see that already. Carter has no issue with queerness.
I'm just gonna find the bathroom.
Yeah, get your mans. Right, we see the family pressure, especially while he's in Russia, where his family is more able to reach him if they wanted to. He feels like he can't escape.
Go away, Hollander.
You didn't answer my text.
No, I did not answer your boring text. Now you go.
That's so hurtful. This boy just lost his virginity, basically his penetration virginity to Ilya, and here Ilya is like not even giving him anything. Like Shane is like Ilya was like not here. Shane was like, I'm not trying to fuck you here. I know we gotta put up front on, but he still is just looking for like a check-in at least from Ilya. Ilya's not giving him anything. Like that's how I think constricted Ilya feels. But at the same time, dude, that's how you lose your mans, right? The last scene that they had together, it was so tender. Ilya initiated this super tender kiss. He went in twice, and now here he's like very much ignoring this person that he could at least say hi to, you know?
Тебе надо подстричься.
Да, отец. Латвии.
All right, memory issues?
И он еще пьет. Как ты допустил до этого? Тебе не стыдно?
Не стыдно, отец.
Ilya is styled so different here. His hair is fully pulled back. I feel like this is symbolizing the clean cutness, the restrictiveness of his existence here.
Не настолько. Они не учат тебя дисциплине в этой американской лиге.
Наш вратарь травмирован, команда не сыграна.
He's really trying to push back on his dad, but I don't think he has the full confidence yet.
Кто это тебе завязывал? Твоя мама?
Мама умерла. Ты не помнишь?
Я имел в виду твоя мачеха.
Oh, also,
Где Полина?
someone caught that Paulina is not in Moscow. I actually don't know. I wonder who Paulina is. Is she alive? Is she like an actual character in his life?
Нам нужно идти. Нагала вечер.
Конечно, врата всегда самый крайний.
Here, Ilya is stuck between his father and the minister, the family and the state. The camera's also zooming in and tightening the frame with Ilya, and I think to a higher degree than it did with Shane and his draft. So here, we felt the pressure and the suffocation that Shane did during the draft. Here we feel it even more with Ilya, and especially knowing the context of Russia. And also behind Ilya is a chandelier. Like the light is behind Ilya, so we can see he's kind of looking away from his truth, his son, and being suffocated by the family and the state. And he's like dissociating honestly. That's the only way he knows how to exist in Russia and in this dynamic is just to dissociate and say nothing. And then Svetlana is here to save him. She breaks him out of his little spell. All right, we're establishing that Svetlana is the minister's daughter. Always leading him around. Okay, always leading him around since they were kids. Since they were children. But also, Ilya's back was facing towards the chandelier, right? He was facing away from the light. Now we can see them walking towards the light. I mean, not literally, right? They're not going to run into this fucking chandelier. But now Ilya's face is more illuminated by the light, and he's being led around by Svetlana. Svetlana is leading him, is guiding him. This is the dynamic that we're establishing from this little scene right here. Always leading him around since they were children. This is a dynamic they've known forever. I'm an angel. I see a lot of like biblical imagery in this whole series. So one that's particularly stand out is this image of the angel, because Svetlana pretty much says that she is an angel. Again, this idea of like the angel leading towards light, right? She's leading Ilya towards the light. She leads Ilya into this room, right? We know that Svetlana has been leading Ilya around since they were kids. Svetlana leads Ilya to the playroom. Since they were kids, they like playing together, and she is always the one to kind of lead him around and invite him to play. And so we also established that this is Svetlana's domain, if you will, because we get the two mirrors, right? We associate mirrors with Svetlana. And I think it's also important that here we meet Sasha, and we see Sasha as well as Ilya through the mirror first, right? They're making eye contact through the mirror first before they actually have real eye contact. He looks at Ilya, looks at the audience, right? Long time no see Ilya in the mirror. This trio looks very comfortable with each other, right? I think this is implying that they're like a group of friends that have history since they were children. We know that Svetlana and Ilya hook up. And we also know that Sasha and Ilya have hooked up. We don't know if they've played together as a threesome, right? Perhaps it's implied, perhaps it's not. We also don't really know if Svetlana knows about Sasha and Ilya, and vice versa. It's kind of implied, but it's not overtly said. And while we're on the topic of trios, I recently learned about the Freudian trio from Relius on YouTube. And I want to see if we can apply the same framework to Ilya, Sasha, and Svetlana. We call it the Freudian trio because it uses the three aspects of the human psychology and personality that Sigmund Freud coined. So the id is the emotional, instinctual part of our brains. The superego is the logical aspect of it. It's where we have to consider the society that we live in and the community around us. So morality and guilt is kind of wrapped up in the superego. And then in the middle of it, we have the ego, which kind of balances desires and how we have to perform and behave in front of other humans. So if we were to map out our trio, I would put Sasha under id. He represents kind of getting what he wants, right? He doesn't have to live kind of in the confines of Russia. He is flamboyant. He moved to France to party and to entertain his carnal desires. And then I would put Ilya under superego because not necessarily that he is super smart or super intelligent, but it's that he always operates from a logical angle. He operates from a prescribed angle. We'll see that in the many choices he'll make in regards to him and Shane in the coming episodes. But also we can see that here, even in their wardrobe, we can see the id and the superego, right? We are in a formal gala right now. Everyone is wearing a tuxedo, and yet Sasha is here with a flower shirt. It is loose. loose, it is unbuttoned, whereas Ilya is still having his bow tie on, kind of tied around like a collar in his neck, representing the adherence to the rule of society. And then finally, we have Svetlana, who kind of gets the best of both worlds. She is out there getting what she wants. She is successful. She is independent. She has her own personality and desires, and she uses her wisdom and intelligence to get what she wants, right? Throughout the episodes, we see her display tenacity as well as restraint.
Почему ты так решила? Мой отец...
Твой отец сволочь, который в любом случае...
Your father is an asshole who would have punished you either way. Svetlana is trying to enlighten this dude. He put so much emphasis on the family, on his father, on his responsibility that he feels like he's shouldering. Svetlana's like, dude, fuck them, because no matter the outcome, the follow-up is the same, right? You're always going to be punished. The next step of whatever, if you win or if you lose, it's always more punishment. It's always more critique. You will never be happy if you subject yourself to this.
тебя накажет. Тебе надо перестать волноваться о том, что он думает. И плевать на эти дурацкие игры, когда у тебя есть реальный шанс.
I also want to remind you guys of Zhukovsky's Svetlana. Svetlana looks into a mirror and sees a fortune, right? She's looking for a vision. And here we have this sequence of Svetlana basically using her intelligence and her knowledge of hockey, looking into the mirror and basically giving Ilya the future. Basically what she says about Ilya winning the cup and how he does it and how he navigates like getting to the cup comes true.
Откуда ты все это знаешь?
Она экстрасенс.
She's psychic. She's psychic. The fortune-telling thing of Svetlana's ballad.
Ты сможешь победить кого угодно на Западе, на Чикаго. Так ты и выиграешь Кубок Стэнли на год раньше, чем я поспорила с отцом.
So we learn that Svetlana has placed a bet with her father, and her father is a very famous hockey player, a professional hockey player. He, in a sense, you would think he knows hockey better than Svetlana does. However, she feels so confident in herself and her knowledge that she is willing to bet against him. And I think this also establishes Svetlana as her own person as well, because when we were first introduced to Svetlana, you know, based on what we knew of Ilya at the time, it looked like Svetlana was a girlfriend, an extension of Ilya. But here we see that she has been leading him since their childhood. She tells the future. She's so smart. She is arguably almost smarter than he is in his own domain. And then we get this line of like, she does all the talk, all of this fortune telling. And we learned that she did it because she placed a bet with her father. And I think that subverts the expectation that Svetlana was set up to be this character that is only an extension of Ilya. Now we kind of see Svetlana having her own motivations and not just being like Ilya's girl. You boys need to catch up. So here, it almost implies that she knows their history, but no one really overtly says it. I also like the idea of like this infinity mirror thing. For me, the imagery I get with Svetlana and the infinity mirrors with Ilya as well is she's basically saying like mirrors are her power, and like you use mirrors to reflect upon yourself. So no matter how many lifetimes, no matter how many universes, no matter how many multiverses, I will create an infinite amount of mirrors for you to reflect on yourself and find the truth. That is kind of the relationship that she has with Ilya. She will always produce these mirrors. She will always hold the mirror up to Ilya to help him reach the truth. The way Sasha's speaking and like the sentences he's using feels like he wants Ilya's attention right now. Pause here. Let's look up the name Sasha. What does Sasha mean? Sasha is a name which originated among Slavic peoples from Eastern and Southern Europe. As the shortened version of Alexander and Alexandra, it is also used as a surname. So we see that Sasha and Alexei come from the same name, right? Alexander, Alex. And their names pretty much mean the same thing. It means like defender. It means helper of mankind. Alexei also is associated with that. So here, I think we're seeing Sasha as a foil to Alexei. And I think we also kind of see both of their personalities and their traits embodied in Ilya. Alexei is his older brother. Alexei is kind of a bully. He's really rough. And I think that's where Ilya gets his roughness from. His bully, his like sharp words, his ability to get under people's skin comes from his brother Alexei. And foiled that with Sasha, who is Ilya's old lover. We see that Sasha is the more dominant one. He's taller. He's making the first move. He's also going to grab Ilya first. So Sasha is where Ilya learns how to be sexually dominant, and we can see that in how he interacts with Shane. Here, really. Okay, so the idea of the imperfect location, we initially saw that with Shane. Ilya initiated the stroking with Shane in the showers. Shane said, not here. Like, I'm not comfortable with this location. It's not safe. Here we see Ilya kind of say the same thing. Here, really, right? And also, if we look on Sasha's shirt, what is he wearing? Sasha is wearing a red roses. Rosanov, basically. And I think what we are gathering here as the viewer is Sasha is wearing Rosanov on his shirt, basically signifying that Sasha wants Rosanov, Sasha, it belongs to Rosanov, basically just like a gesture of attraction towards Ilya, and then Sasha is displaying it through his shirt.
Здесь? Серьезно?
Опасность раньше возбуждала тебе.
Again, we see this like the dominance of power play. Ilya generally is always the more dominant one when he meets up with Shane. But here, the rose, so Sasha is being more dominant towards Ilya right now. We can see the mirror between this relationship and Shane and Ilya's relationship. And I think it also is kind of how Ilya exists in Russia as well, right? He is always led around by Svetlana. He is sexually dominated by Sasha. He is bullied by his brother. He is critiqued by his father, and he belongs to the state. He is subordinate in every way in his life in Russia. And here is just another image of how that plays out. Sasha goes for it. Ilya is not into it. And I also want to look behind Ilya for a second. In the vase, I'm seeing some white roses, right? I feel like we're seeing the imagery of Sasha intruding on the new relationship that Ilya is forming with Shane right now. And also, I think it's interesting that we are kind of past the half of the frame, right? We're really encroaching into Ilya's space. Ilya does not feel comfortable with this Sasha in front of him, like grabbing his dick right now. Like we as a viewer also feel suffocated for Ilya. And I'm also interested. Okay, so there are angels behind. Hold on, wait. I think this is significant. The statue behind these two guys right now is an angel, and there's someone holding on to the angel, and they're looking towards the light. So this almost feels like the angel is pulling this figure towards light, towards enlightenment. I see a lot of biblical symbolism throughout the whole show. And this is the first time I'm really noticing that there's an angel symbolism in this bathroom as well. He's pushing Sasha away. Ooh, after that interaction, all Ilya could think about is Shane, right? He has this thing right in front of him, this plaything that he really could take in front of him if he wanted to. Svetlana basically led him towards Sasha. Sasha's basically presenting himself to Ilya, and yet Ilya can't bring himself to make the connection with Sasha because he's already connected to Shane. And I also want to look at the coloring of this whole sequence. This is like a golden palace, right? What does gold represent? Like light, sun. Here in this ballroom, in this bathroom even, Ilya is surrounded by gold, right? That is the guiding light of Russia, of like the story that he's in. He is surrounded by gold, and yet it's not sunshine. Like this isn't real sun, but it's comfortable enough that Ilya feels like he, I guess, could follow the script, right? This could be something that he'll be okay with just because, you know, we have the golden light. So now a few months later, we're back in Montreal.
I don't know. My mom told me to get one.
Yeah, Jackie's pregnant again. None of the guys really drink because they're in season. They train? Question mark?
Playoffs are over. You cannot keep the beer.
That's not a rule. You just made that up.
I want to notice we have 2 visibly injured players right now.
Fuck you, Swedish inbred. Fuck you, Jay. Turn it up.
3 now that we can see his bruising. Hayden's bruising.
As we speak, you've been on fire since the Olympic break. A heartbreaking games for the Russians seems to have only intensified the young Boston captain. He's on a tear.
Ooh, because they all know what that feels like because they're all injured on this couch right now.
6 playoff games.
Okay, listen the fuck up. Look, I don't give a fuck how many goals I've scored. I don't give a fuck how I played 2 fucking nights ago. I need to win. I want to hear them scream.
He's letting out his frustration.
Fuck San Francisco. Fuck San Francisco.
Yo, fuck San Francisco. Great fucking speech. Do y'all think him and Marlo go through the same speech before they head off to Paris? Question mark.
You hate Rosanov. Of course. But he's very good at hockey.
I also want to draw attention to kind of the coloring here. The outside is gloomy. Shane is with all these presumably like straight hockey players. This is kind of the hetero world he exists in. And I also want to look at what everyone else is wearing. They're all wearing blue or like a muted color or just like a neutral color. Nothing vibrant, nothing fun, nothing super gay, right? This imagery, this coloring of this scene is not lost upon me. Also, the way they did Hayden's bruising on his face, kind of cute. That looks like really good blush. I'm not gonna lie.
The best, probably.
None. You're the fucking best, Orlando.
What a comeback story this year.
Right, Shane here is conflicted. He's happy for his man. He's frustrated that he can't celebrate here in the moment. He's also frustrated that he probably can't celebrate with Ilya because he keeps pushing him away, but yet he's still happy for this dude. He still feels a sense of attraction towards Ilya, even though Ilya has been pushing him away. Summer. All right, summer. This show has been so good about giving us the timeline and like the chronological details about every time skip or every segment that we encounter, right? December 2008, spring 2009, summer 2011, fall 2011, right? Why here do we get just summer? There's no year attached to it. I don't know what year we're in, right? Like, yes, they do give us the year for all of the other ones, but I kind of get lost. But I like recalibrating where I am in the show. So why here does the show not give us the year? This idea of removing the year and like removing the exact time from the show itself, I will make note if I'm wrong, but I think only happens here and at the cottage. So I think it's very significant that we kind of look at why, right? My hypothesis for summer here is what I think is happening is by removing the year, we kind of remove the time from this scene, right? We're supposed to gather that the scene is timeless or time has stopped. The phrase like time stopped or time has stopped usually is associated with either like a really traumatic experience that is lasting forever and you kind of want to end-ish, or associated with bliss where you don't want it to end, a timeless moment that you're always going to look back upon. We know that's associated with the cottage. So what is associated here in summer? Summer in Vegas. Shane and Ilya meet again for the first time in a while, ever since the Olympics, where Ilya blew up again at Shane.
Where you were on in 5 seconds.
25 seconds.
What were you even doing?
I was busy.
With who?
With who? He wants to know.
But the most important thing
Is the friends we make along the way. Hey, before we give out next award, can I get a selfie with you?
Okay, fine.
I hope we
Hurry
get
up.
this selfie of them in season 2 somehow. I think it's cute. They have this little picture. It wasn't a good night. It wasn't a good night for everybody, but
Give me your number, I'll text them to you.
it's a very cute picture.
No chance.
Now we're in Shane's perspective. The camera work is very shaky, right? Like Shane's feeling uneasy. Shane's feeling rocky. He's frustrated. He's frustrated that he's attracted to this dude that won't give him any attention. Shane and Ilya meet again, and there is a mirror in front of them. Or to their side, whatever.
What the fuck do you want, Rosanov? You haven't answered a text from me in like 6 months. You won't even acknowledge I exist unless there's a fucking camera pointed at us, and then it's for some fucking clown show.
So Shane is trying to speak in emotions and desire. Ilya is speaking in sex.
Oh, fuck you. You are unbelievable.
Right, we're kind of in front of the mirror. Two things are happening at once. We know both of them have an emotional desire as well as a physical sexual desire. Shane is speaking from an emotional point of view. Ilya is speaking from a sexual point of view. They're missing each other by communication, but it's also kind of communicated that two separate ideas are going on because of this mirror right here.
You suck my dick.
Maybe as nicely.
Ilya is now pulling Shane towards his sexual world right now.
Please.
And Shane falls for it. Shane folded, please.
If you want me to get on my knees on this filthy bathroom floor and suck your dick, you will have to ask nicer than that.
And now Ilya is making him look stupid. He's about to ask the stupidest
On
question.
your knees on this filthy bathroom floor and suck my dick. Please. No.
No.
to boring party after. And then when you
Is this Cage and Lock? Is this Lock and Cage?
maybe do more than just suck your dick.
When did your English get so good?
So being boring is genetic.
Genetic.
Genetic. They are about to exchange some DNA tonight.
Let's make a deal. If you win MVP tonight, I will blow you, fuck you, whatever you want. Good luck tonight.
Shane looks at himself in the mirror. Basically, what I gather from this is whatever imagery you want to go with, right? Shane is either entering the mirror world where Ilya is right now. Ilya is basically telling him like, hey, I don't want to talk about our emotions. Let's just get physical. So Shane is basically jumping into Ilya's world by repressing his emotions, repressing his need to connect to Ilya on like a deeper level spiritually. And he is pushing all of this feeling and leaving it here in this bathroom. I want y'all to remember that we just left the stage. This bathroom, I am presuming that it's in the basement. It's in backstage somewhere like below level. And also it's not super public, right? It's not part of the whole party, because if this bathroom were part of the whole party, they would have not been getting nasty up in here like that. So this is representing a bathroom far away from the party. And Shane is leaving his feelings here. Booty call, penthouse 1. All right. I want you guys to take a look at how many lights we have in this suite. This first shot, we see 5. Another one next to Ilya, 6.
Congratulations.
We find out Ilya won the MVP, the cup.
Now take off your clothes.
You're such an asshole.
You're such an asshole, but you're going to take your clothes off anyway, sir. And also, we see this like dominance thing, right? Ilya is standing on this little platform above Shane. We are establishing the dominance dynamic here. We counted those 5 on the right side. That's 7 right there, that little ball. 7. The folding of the pants again, his little quirk. Right now the kick is coming in. Also, okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 lights in the living room. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We know there's 13 lights in the room. I know there's 2 behind him.
14, 10.
I'll do to 1.
I also, okay, the music right now. When Shane and Ilya first hooked up and did some penetration, we had like a more connected arpeggio. I feel like this also might be an arpeggio, but it's just 2 notes that I can hear at least. It's like the high note, the low note, and it's like we still get the sense of like floating because it's an arpeggio, but it's a much rockier float, I think. And then we also get this the kick coming in, and we know kind of how the scene goes, right? We're getting the drums, the beat coming in now.
Very nice vodka. It's hard to find in America. Touch yourself.
What?
Show off for me. I want to watch you. It's my special day, Hollander. I want to watch.
I've never...
No shit.
Fuck you. Give me some vodka at least.
No. Vodka is for after as your reward.
No Asian glow during the show, please. The music starts to get louder as they're both aroused by each other.
Do you want to know how it feels?
We have this dominating shot of Ilya, right? He's dead center. He is the focus of Shane's point of view right now. And he's also positioned slightly higher than the camera. So the audience is looking up at Ilya right now. And then there's also this like the 2 lights behind Ilya as well as the 2 lights behind Shane. Usually we see that they carry their own stars, right? You know, we have other lights in the room. I'm not saying that like we're not counting those, but usually it's very apparent what the primary lights are for these 2 characters whenever they're hooking up. However, here we see double behind them, 2 behind Ilya, 2 behind Shane. And then we also saw a bunch of lights when we were moving from the living room to the bedroom. I feel like this is the most amount of lights we've had in a hookup scene in a fantasy, if you will, that Shane and Ilya has shared, right? If 1 star means reality and 2 stars mean the shared fantasy that they have between each other, multiple stars, all these 13 stars represent a heightened fantasy. More stars means more distance between reality, right? So the true sun, the real life, is all the way outside of the suite. They pass through 8 solar systems to get to this like fantasy where they're all alone right now. And also, I think the multiplication of their own lights in the bedroom right now is also coming from my perspective, representative of sex on poppers, right? Basically, you use poppers to reach the sense of highness, the sense of intimacy, the sense of like physical transcendence that you could reach with emotional connection, but you're using drugs to get there, right? So this heightened fantasy is also symbolic of sex on drugs, if you will. This is also the only intimate scene where drugs/alcohol is involved in the 6 episodes.
How what feels?
Holding the cup.
You fucking asshole.
Oh, I can barely describe it. Oh my God, Hollander.
Okay, Shane's going for it.
What? You know, tell me.
The music is bumping, right? The amyl nitrate, we're sniffing it right now, dude. We're getting high off of the amyl nitrate and the THC. We can hear the beat more clearly. And then here, I'm going to say, I think we see like a power play between Shane and Ilya. Ilya has told Shane like, hey, play with yourself, like get in bed, put on a show for me. Shane is like, okay, here's your show. But very quickly into the show, Shane kind of turns the power against Ilya and he says, I need you. He basically just he activated his top, right? That is how Shane has like turned this power on Ilya. He's commanding Ilya to come here. I need you. Come here to this bed. And Ilya listens. The power has shifted in this little dynamic, but we still see like the top and bottom. I think people tied the idea of the dominant force being the top and like the more submissive force being the bottom. I think we're kind of subverting things here a little bit with this power exchange. Okay, Bubble Butt. And this is the most intense we've seen them engage in intercourse. Shane's first time was more tender. This is a lot more intense and a lot faster, right?
So are you heading back soon? Do you have to?
There is no have to. It's home.
I don't know. Is it safe?
What do you mean safe?
I don't know. Do you even like it there?
Do you even like it there? Shane is trying to connect with Ilya's desires, right? I think when Shane went down the rabbit hole of YouTube videos, I think what he was trying to gain or learn from that rabbit hole was desire, right? Why do these two creatures who have nothing in common desire to be with each other? Here he is trying to learn about Ilya's desires. Does he desire to go back to Russia? If yes, why? Like, you know, like Shane has gotten the idea that Russia makes Ilya very upset. He also gets the idea that Russia is not safe for people who aren't straight, right?
What difference does it make?
What difference does it make? Shane's asking from a point of view of desire. Ilya is answering from a point of view of prescription, right? What difference does it make? It doesn't matter because the story's already written. This is what I have to do. Like, I basically have no choice. I basically have no agency around my story, around my plot.
A pretty big one, I think.
I need to sleep.
Shane introduces this idea of it makes a big difference. He's kind of introducing the idea of freedom in a sense to Ilya, right? Shane, this ghost who comes from nowhere and goes to nowhere, is trying to reconcile with Ilya on why he has to stick to the script. And we're finally breaching the topic of what Ilya truly desires. And I think that really freaks Ilya out because following the script is easy, right? The stories are written out. The steps are written out. You know what's going to happen. So this prescription of Ilya being the champion, the caregiver of his family, as well as the elite hockey champion in Russia, it's already written. Like, people know him for doing that. So that is the easy path. Like, he could continue on that path and coast through life very easily. And this idea of freedom, this idea that he gets to choose and kind of dictate his future really scares him because he doesn't know what that's like. And so now we see the distance between Shane and Ilya. Earlier, if we say that all these stars represent a heightened fantasy, we also have to consider that this is distance, right? All these stars represent a solar system. From the door all the way into the bedroom, we cross through 8 solar systems to get to sex. And now Ilya's in the bedroom, Shane is in the living room. They are still far apart. Even though they are in the same room, they are light years apart because of all these stars, right? You get a heightened fantasy through drugs and through emotional repression, but just as high as you get from that, right? Like the high of being able to command your dom, you get a low. You get a high and the low, right? Shane is feeling super low right now. And I also want to look at framing, right? Here, Shane is kind of on the left side of the frame. The door is on the right. Why is Shane not placed on the right?
So, I'm off.
No kiss goodbye.
Goodbye, Hollander.
We can see the disappointment in Shane's body language. And here, as we pan over to Ilya, we see that he's kind of depressed. He's really dissociating. And then if we look at where his frame ends, right, he's on the right side. The last frame, Ilya was on the left side. So to me, what this is showing is that even though they're in the same location, the same space, they are not on the same page. They end their nights completely out of sync with each other, even though they just had a heightened sexual experience. See you next season, smiley face is crazy bottom behavior. Your man just kicked you out of his suite, his penthouse suite, and you're about to text him, see you next season, smiley face. Bottom behavior. Wee woo, bottom alert. I'm dead. Did y'all catch that? Hold on. He erases a smiley face. And then he's like, maybe I can send this. Maybe it's a little less gay that I deleted the smiley face. So I'll just send see you next season. He contemplates for a second. And then he deletes the see you next season. He's like, how friendly should I be? How much of a mask should I be putting on? And then we see like his desire coming out. We didn't even kiss. He desires Ilya's kiss. He desires Ilya's intimacy. And he didn't get it, right? This is like a very disappointing moment for Shane. So remember, for Shane to have gotten into this fantasy, he had to repress himself, repress his emotions, and enter the mirror world where Ilya's sexual being lives, right? So where did he suppress his feelings? Where did he enter into the mirror world? In the backstage bathroom, the basement bathroom, probably the furthest point from the penthouse, figuratively, right? Backstage underground B1 bathroom versus penthouse suite. The two furthest places you could put in this location. And we see that he suppresses his emotions to meet Ilya at this fantasy, this heightened fantasy that they meet each other at. Could be representative also of drugs. So we see the high and the low, right? The high is when they were kind of connecting, getting it on, getting the intensity on, the EDM, that's the high. That's the amyl nitrate, right? And then here we see the low. Ilya is in his room disconnected. He can't even light his fucking cigarette because he fucking hates the thought of Russia and the idea that he is bound to this fucking script. And here Shane is super fucking frustrated because he wanted to connect with his man on a very emotional level, and all they got was physical sex. And I think also Shane kind of feels disappointed in himself too, because when they met in the bathroom, Ilya basically said, all I want is sex. And Shane basically said yes. Like he's kind of frustrated with himself here because he kind of can't blame anyone other than himself, because Ilya showed him exactly what Ilya wanted and Shane folded. If you hadn't folded, if you had pushed through and talked about what you wanted more emotionally, perhaps he would have gotten what he wanted this evening, but it's a fact that he didn't, and he's disappointed, right? And now we end episode 2. All right, thank you so much for watching. I am so excited to continue the rest of the story. If you enjoyed it, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. See ya.